thing. You're watching the scene and you're thinking, holy shit, he's teaching the monster how to speak.
Yep.
Yeah, he's not. I mean, that's adding humanity to him. He can't be a monster forever because he's not really a monster.
Well, he is a monster, and he always will be a monster. That's just his fate. That's his destiny. There's no unmaking him a monster. That doesn't mean he can't be a good soul and
there you go,
and a kind one, but he's not human, and he'll never be human. He's still, a thing, something that was born neither of man nor woman. And then, of course, we have the scene where the hunters come in. Do you guys recognize the guy on the left by any chance?
He does look familiar. I'm trying to figure out. Oh, wait, on our left, the tall one.
There he is.
Yeah. Shit.
Looks like the guy from The Howling. That old guy in the town.
Ding, 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 ding. That is
from Jeopardy.
No, he's this is John Carradine.
Okay.
Yes, who played Dracula in House of Frankenstein and also in House of Dracula, and probably has the longest entry of any actor on the Internet Movie Database.
Really?
Yeah. He also performed in a stage production of Frankenstein, playing the blind man. That was in New York City in the 1980s. I want to say 83 or so. Mm-hmm. It bombed. I think it closed down after like a week, because that's just the nature of theater, is that if the reviews are bad, the show just gets shut down. And the monster immediately realizes, oh shit, these guys are here to start trouble.
Yeah, that mouth, the way he's got his jaw gripped, he's like, you can kind of tell.
But there's a new fierce intelligence there, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah, I've been working. Like, total get out of here! I'm working on something. I mean, I'm like, I'm in the middle of something. This is
smoking.
That's you know what I mean. Like, he's not missing. He understands more than he used to.
Yes.
And it's I'm finally getting somewhere, and along comes these people who don't understand what's going on.
Well, that actually looks like, to me, it looks like a face of suspicion. Like the last time I walked outside.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I know that face. I've made that face many a time.
Yeah, that's what I look like. That's what I look like when I'm trying to find the right register at Walmart. Like,
right.
That one looks really short, but I don't want to be behind that person.
Yep. And the blind man, of course, steps right in. Is like, no, you're not fucking with my friend. The old man, can't you see? Are you blind? Right? Can't you see that he's a monster? And that's where he realizes, oh shit, he's blind. And there's that moment where he suddenly realizes they're going to take all this away from me now, aren't they?
It looks like they're using some soft focus right there.
Yes, absolutely. And so everything goes to shit. They attack. The hut gets burned down, and right after that, he's running, and he runs into these children, and they just go running and screaming. And of course, he's doing that pleading gesture with his hands, right? Mm-hmm. Just looking for somebody just to be kind to him. And it's just not going to happen. And then we cut to this scene. It's one of my favorite in all of the Universal monster movies, where he's wandering through this graveyard.
The iconography. Snarling. This is what I was talking about earlier, about what I liked about this film.
And you can't be a comic book fan and not think, leave Hulk alone. Right?
Mm-hmm. Dude, it was the inspiration for Hulk.
Oh, without a doubt. Well.
That and Jekyll and Hyde.
Exactly.
They've always said it, yeah.
Yep. Except instead of Dr. Jekyll turning into Mr. Hyde, he turns into the Frankenstein monster.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so he goes into this tomb, and he falls into this coffin, and he cracks it open. And inside is the corpse of a beautiful young woman thankfully not boiling with maggots, and he kind of goes, tries to get her attention, waves his hand over her face and says, "Friend?" And of course, she's completely non-responsive. And
Dude, I've been shut down like that before.
Oh yeah, me
I,
too,
I,
man.
I thought you were gonna say that, but he said, "Put it on the Reds."
Put it on the Reds.
I'm telling you, man, you got to watch these movies. That movie's a lot funnier when you've watched these.
No, I mean, that's what I was gonna say before. It's like the first time I watched it, I didn't enjoy it. I enjoyed it after finding out what he was mentioning, like when you know a bit more of the background of, like, Mary Shelley, how they wrote the goddamn thing, how they met them. Like the intro makes more sense, and then the movie becomes more enjoyable when you know technically the lore.
Yep.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, I if it's a good film, you still don't need to know the lore. That's the thing about Young Frankenstein that I think is so brilliant. I watched that with some millennial friends of mine, and they thought it was hilarious. They loved it.
Yeah,
and they'd never seen any of these films.
Yep. Yeah, but that's the thing, that some people just don't know anything about the lore. They enjoy the corniness of it a little bit, you could say, and the fact that hey, finally a girl monster. You know that there's always that girl thing.
Yes.
That plays as a factor. So first lady monster. So and
they
didn't make her ugly.
Early representation too. That happened a long time ago.
The work is not going to be done until the lady monsters get to vote.
Right. And
Horatio. And I just
love this scene where Pretorius has been engaging in a little casual grave violation and is down in the tomb, and he's just having a smoke and a drink and some bones piled up and candles lit, and is just having a jolly old good time. And the monster shows up. And when he sees the monster approaching, he doesn't get scared. And the monster, does the pleading gesture with his hand, says, "Friend, smoke." And Pretorius says, "Oh, well, I certainly hope so." And he offers him a cigar and says, it's my only weakness. Remember before with the gin, he said, a little gin. It's my only weakness.
At the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's a man of many vices, clearly. Smoke, friend. Yes, I hope so. Yeah, they're my only weakness.
Liar.
You make man like me, woman like you.
Here?
Oh yeah, then of course, one of the most classic lines from this film: "I love dead, hate living. You're wise in your generation." So you have like this heartbreaking.
That sounds like Timmy Bateman. I think he says, "No, Dad, keep living." In Pet Sematary, when the first one, they come to burn the house down. Timmy Bateman got buried up in the Mickey-Mack burial ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Where's Timmy, Lassie?
What'd you say?
I said, "What, Lassie? Where's Timmy?"
Yeah.
But I just, I find this, hear him say that, it's heartbreaking, and then you get this funny line. It's Whale is just playing with your emotions in this film, and just in a really, really clever and masterful way, I think.
Yeah, and it's also trying to say the newer generation, they're dumbasses.
Yeah. Yeah, without a doubt. And so now Pretorius has a friend, and now he's got his leverage. The monster grabs Elizabeth, and they are go. And then, of course, we get this scene, which is one of the most famous scenes Well, you okay over there, Pops?
Yeah. It seemed like that was. I mean, he said almost the exact same thing in the other movie, didn't he? I'm assuming.
Yes. It's a reference. Yeah.
Okay.
It's alive. Yeah. And the Tesla coils here, all this equipment that you see, that equipment was preserved and it was used in many films afterwards. The reason they hung on to it was to recycle it for later horror films.
Brilliant.
But then they took good care of it, and it ended up, I think, being used in Young Frankenstein and also in Gods and Monsters. They didn't recreate the equipment; they used the original equipment.
Saved it. Yeah.
What if they still got it? I want to use it.
A lot of them movies before all the CGI stuff.
Yeah.
Like, they all reuse the same backgrounds. You would recognize them all the time. Like there's one building, I forget the name, but it was reused for the first time in a way that nobody recognized in a Blade Runner. But it's one of the most iconic freaking building that people are using, with the elevator shot within the building. I forgot the name of it, but it's an almost
every hotel.
Yeah, that's it. It's freaking used a whole bunch of time. But
the Millennium Falcon was one of the buildings in Blade Runner. The very first Falcon, with the huge one. They made a smaller one for Empire Strikes Back, but the first one they found in a dumpster.
Oh, that's
and used
crazy.
it. Yeah. On the prop reusage thing, there's a YouTube thing I remember. It's called "The Most Important Device in the Universe: Blinking Tubes Without Function," and it's just a compilation of all the different places you see this one prop. It's reminded me when you guys were talking about like preserving things.
Yeah. I don't know if if any of you have seen The Man with Two Brains.
Yeah, Steve Martin.
Steve Martin. I love when he refers to this device as that buzz thing.
Yeah, man, that movie's funny.
Yeah, it is. And
didn't Campbell do another version of that movie, The Man with Two Brains, too?
No, I think it was.
Was that with the
what the hell
woman's
was the
brain?
name of that? It was a similar title, but it wasn't the same thing.
Continue. I'm gonna figure it out.
What? All of Me?
No, that's a body swap movie
Yeah.
with
Lily Tomlin, right?
Book burn
Bucket Bull.
Bitch.
Bucket Bull.
It was Men with the Screaming Brain. Sorry.
There it is. And fuck it. If I get jacked again, I don't give a fuck. I give zero.
What is the time on it? Is it 30 seconds or?
It's not like you're monetized.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So let's just take a look at this.
Go about 20 seconds at a time, B.
Okay. Now you guys know, like, this is probably like, I mean, this is top, not top 5 for me. This is like top 2 or 3, right?
Oh shit.
And I got to see this in a movie theater in my area that was an old movie theater that had been restored. They spent $2 million on this thing, restoring it, and they had a silver screen, right? You normally don't get silver screens; you get white screens now, right?
Right.
The reason why they used to have silver screens was because most of the films were all of the films at one point were in black and white, and when you project a black and white movie onto a silver screen, you get a special something. You get a special luminescence that you don't.
The whites
get.
are going to be extra white.
Yes, it's just it's a different experience is what I'm saying.
Right.
And that was one of my great thrills in movie going was seeing this in a beautiful a palace-like theater. You notice the movements there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? How they're very sort of
uncomfortable. I remember
insect-like.
Jeff Bridges, when Jeff Bridges was kind of researching what he was going to do with Starman, he's moving like
a praying mantis.
He was saying he studied birds. Birds move the same way, and they have that sudden that he wanted to look like the alien was uncomfortable,
right,
wearing this skin suit,
right, and that's
what she looks like.
And that is an incredible performance, and he got robbed. He deserved an Oscar for that one.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
And that is a great John Carpenter movie. That's top shelf.
Tearjerker, love the score.
Yep. Here we go.
The Bride of Frankenstein.
Ugh, Christ. Yeah, no, it gives me.
It just reminds me of being in Votech and next to the cosmetology class, and just like knowing that like in order to pass a state board, you have to learn, and you have to like doing finger waves is a thing you have to know how to do.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just wondering, like, what was it like for the person who was doing the hair and the makeup? Were they tearing their hair out, or what?
Jack Pierce was the makeup artist, and he was known to be a bit of a pill. Not a nice guy, although he got along well with Karloff, but that's because Karloff got along with everybody. He was just one of those dudes. I don't know if he did the hair, but he certainly did the makeup, the scars on her chin. Now, remember here, too, her body is made from corpses rifled from graves, right? But her brain isn't human. It's synthetic.
Okay.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Homunculi.
Positronic nervous system.
Right. So it's like Frankenstein created the body,
A
Pretorius
sex robot.
created the brain.
So she's a sex robot.
You might say that, but things don't exactly go as planned, do they? And once again, she's on screen for less than 5 minutes and leaves such an indelible impact on the psyche that she's one of the true icons of horror cinema. Isn't that fantastic?
Mm-hmm.
You can see how carefully staged this is. And she's doing that, like, where am I?
Yeah.
Why am I?
And then she hears the monster's voice. And this is a moment that always chills me to the core.
I was expecting to hear animal. Woman! Woman!
Now you see the I was mentioning before how these are basically American versions of German horror films.
Mm-hmm.
You see the set there? You see those sharp angles and everything?
Yeah.
Triangles.
They never built castles that looked like this.
Nah.
This is a fantasy castle.
Yep.
Friend? Friend?
Come on, take her by the arm, brother. Bust a move.
Why you didn't ask for consent? Is that the problem?
Yeah. He's like, oh shit, I'm gonna get me too'd.
You forgot to sign the consent papers before you press on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Stand back! Stand back!
I think a lot of chicks were checking this. Her whole get up out in the 80s. She seems to be suffering from a big hair and shoulder pad buildup.
Okay, can we also say that she's not just the first female monster, but she's also the first on screen?
Oh.
Yeah.
So making her the first Karen? Okay, I'm just I'll calm down.
It's her behavior is so odd, right? Because it's all twitchy like an insect or like a bird. And
I see like a praying mantis. If you've seen any praying mantis, they always.
Yes. Oh yes. Oh hey, what's up, Aiden Hell? My dog reacted to that scream. Sorry about that. Oh, by the way, everybody that's chilling in the chat, thank you so much for hanging out. Thanks for being here. We really do appreciate you. And of course, he's being very tender and gentle.
He's gonna get friend zone doing that.
I know. That's what I'm saying. He has no game whatsoever.
Yeah, you didn't learn his lesson from Sean Connery.
No, he really didn't. And just the look of horror.
Let me pull this finger off and put a ring on it.
Right.
Give it back to the doctor. Here, do something with that.
Yeah, and that's it. That's it.
You hate me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Man.
A tale as old as time.
Yep. Now, obviously, this movie's very special to me. If you guys don't like it, that's cool. I'm not gonna judge you harshly. I'm not the kind of guy that gets down on people because they don't like the same stuff that I'm into. How did you all react to this? Was this your first time seeing it? Was this a film that you were revisiting? I'm just curious, just to think, just to hear what your thoughts are.
Movie sucks. I don't know why you made us watch this piece of shit.
I keep waiting for
First
that.
question,
too.
I'm like, what the hell did we do to that guy? Okay.
Well, that's normally what I think whenever you put these out is I'm not watching it expecting to like it or dislike it. I'm watching it trying to learn something, and if I appreciated something along the way, then great. This one, I mean, it glitched on me. I only got to see the first 2/3, so I don't know where she came from. Somewhere in the middle of the movie, that chick died. It was one of the.
No, she's just fresh from the ground.
Okay.
Out of the ground
Yeah.
like a vegetable.
Yeah, like Pretorius is presumably, let's see, her bones are right there to the left of.
Yeah, so he's.
So I didn't put that together. I thought that he was just having some sort of morbid fun with some stuff that he found. I thought that the girl was the one that Frankenstein found, which kind of confused me. I'm like, why do you have to actually sew things together? There's a girl right there. She's all in one piece. Just use her. Put the heart in her. Put the brain in her. Isn't that just? I mean,
well, we
remember,
don't get to see any of that, unfortunately.
Well, right. So that's who I thought it was. I didn't know that it was that she had already been like he had already collected other pieces. We had Kiss dolls that were like 11.5 inches, you know.
Yeah.
And we had a Batman doll.
Just turn around, Brian. You probably have one in there.
Yeah.
No, I don't have the Kiss dolls. You know why I didn't buy the Kiss dolls? Because they didn't come with instruments.
I was gonna say, like, it's quite simple. The answer lies in the middle somewhere. So I'm guessing they said they stitched her up, but they used the cadaver.
Yeah. So we had these dolls that we were trying to do this surgery with this other Batman doll, and we spent all this time cutting the rubber bands and trying to get in there with tweezers and tie all
I do that shit too.
My sister came in and goes, "Why didn't you just trade the heads?" And we're like, "Shut up!" It was like the perfect answer. Just trade the heads. That's what I would thought. I was like, "Why do you have all these bones? Just use the body that's over there."
Right. I mean, I would do even weirder shit. I would give my Mr. Spock doll perfume baths.
Okay. Well,
I try and process that. I just remember being in this store. It's on 2nd Avenue. I mean, it's probably not there anymore. But I remember in the 90s on 2nd Avenue and about between 7th and 8th was a place called Love Saves the Day. And you'd go in there and it was a place that sold old toys. And so I was there with a friend, and we were looking at the Star Trek Mego figures. I was like, "Oh man, I used to give my Mr. Spock doll perfume baths." And this chick that worked there was like, "Whoa! You used to give your Mr. Spock perfume baths?" I was like, "Yeah." Why? I was like, I don't know. It seemed like the smart thing to do at the time when I was like 6 years old or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say, where did you find the Spock doll to begin with?
Oh well, I mean, I had the Spock dolls. I had God.
It wasn't like you didn't find it in some like garage sale in somebody's like moldy basement, and he just
no. I was not always good at taking care of my toys. Let's just put it that way.
Me neither.
I fucked a lot of them up that I wish I still had. That I unfortunately don't.
Yeah,
Of
we
course, the
used
ones
to
that I
take.
played with the least are the ones that survived.
Oh,
one
talking
that-
about toys. Remember on the last stream, I mentioned that there was a toy I was looking for.
Yeah.
The Vincent
it?
and Bob.
Huh?
Well, they're on their way.
Nice.
Oh, no way.
Oh
Check
shit,
my
where'd you
stream-
find
my
those
stream.
at?
They made a newer model, so I ordered them. They're 7-inch.
Yeah, the new shit.
Seven
They're
inch
on,
shit.
they're on
Wow.
Amazon. Yeah.
Aren't they
Oh,
cool?
shit.
I need another Starbird.
So I'm finally getting it again. It's not exactly the same, but it's a better version. But I'm
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
both of them, both for like it was
Yeah.
$35.99 US, but with
Really?
import and shipping and shit like that because I'm in Canada, came up to like 58 plus import, so it cost me $61.
For both.
Yeah, for both of them.
Okay.
It's not
They'll
bad.
be here on the 30th, so I'm pretty fucking
That's
stoked
cool,
about it.
Yeah. I had a maroon and silver Mercury Villager that boy, I tell you what, the way that the people put this van together, I had to do structural work to the strut tower and all kinds of body work stuff like this piece of crap, and decided one day to sit down and paint Bob on the back because the same color, silver, red.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And normally I don't spend that kind of time dedicating. It was basically like, like this is really. It took me about like maybe an hour and a half. I was like, screw this van. The whole time hating on this van.
That's the reason why Bob is named Bob and not the Merc. It's there's two reasons. Like I was inspired by Scud, the disposable assassin, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Bob in that thing. So I kind of put it all together, and that's why he's gray. But instead of being red, he has blue. He has the blue stripes in his face. But that's why the name Bob is Bob. He's an old robot. And I'm like, I'm gonna name him Bob.
That's awesome. Yeah, dude. I'm glad.
And
you
also,
looked
I also
those
thought
up.
of the old thing of Budweiser, which was the bottle opens bottle. If you remember, they called him Bob.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I think
Vaguely.
I remember that.
Is that the picture you have in your bathroom?
No, that's not the picture I have in my bathroom, but it is very similar, and I just absolutely love that.
That's what you picture every time you look at it. She's getting ready for that picture.
It's pretty cool.
Mhm.
Watching the whole thing, I was looking for. I think that my view of it was less. It was less of a serious viewing and more. I don't want to say like I wanted to compare it to like as soon as I saw that dude in the beginning acting and rolling his R's and everything, I'm like, this is gonna be interesting, but also I feel like an asshole coming across like this, but
That's okay.
I'm like we could not like we could do so much better now. I don't appreciate it for the movie that it was, like you do. Of course, like you said, you know a lot more about it than I do, but I kept looking at the whole. Well, the gypsies are right over there. He's got friends right next door, or that lady. I can't remember the name of the lady actor who was like the cranky, naggy at the beginning. The servant.
Una O'Connor.
Yeah, and like when she like freaks out and leaves, I'm like, okay. That was weird when she screams because he's awake, and the fact that he's actually not dead and they thought he was and they didn't check for a pulse, and
Right.
I'm like all the plot holes. So I looked at it more of like
Curiosity.
more. This is the asshole part I'm talking about.
No, it doesn't make you, dude. It doesn't make you an asshole. Here's the thing.
These silly people made this movie, and only put
dude.
this much thought into it. I hate.
May
that
I
said that.
remember watching it? Like you say that you sound like an asshole. Yeah, I'm like when I first watched it, I thought it was a horror version of a chick flick.
Oh,
I remember the first type of like reaction I had to it was like it's dozed down horror, right? The drama, it's all toned down. It's a bit comedic, but it's not comedy. So it's not a parody, but it's very toned down to be like either child friendly, like children friendly more, or like I said, chick flick. I remember as young I went like, oh, that's a chick flick horror movie. It's not I didn't like it. It's just it's not a horror movie per se.
yeah.
But it is horror theme.
It's more, It as Matt was saying, it feels more like a fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
I did
Yeah.
like the nostalgia part. I mean, I liked all like
It's like the
a
Princess
classic
Bride, the
movie.
Princess Bride of horror.
Yeah, it is. It's funny. It's almost like the horror doesn't necessarily presuppose fear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do
Or
think.
like it's classified as horror, but you don't have to be
Perfect.
scared. Yeah,
I do
because I
think
mean,
that-
we can do it by that definition. You can just fill something with a bunch of jump scares.
Yeah, but it gets away with it because it's a sci-fi horror.
Right.
Mhm.
The original is a sci-fi horror, and that's a sci-fi horror. So just the idea of having people living that you bring back to life from electricity, and remember that was created when electricity was still mesmerizing to people, and people were afraid of it.
Yes.
So that's one of the
that's
first
true.
things that people were thriving on, the fear of electricity. That's the entire premise of why it came. Like lightning bolt were still a fucking mystery to them and killing people. So it was a giant monster. So we're gonna harness that and bring somebody to life, make it hit a monster, and just that idea. It's horror. It's horror. So
Yeah,
that
like
you turn it into Young Frankenstein. It's still a horror themed movie, but it's a comedy. It's clearly a fucking comedy.
Right,
I
because you're talking about technology here, and
But
the
it
fear
gets
of
away with
technology.
it better. It gets away with it better. It's like the same reason why Evil Dead gets away with what it did. Is because it's the supernatural aspect, crazy aspect to it that makes it gets away from being the funny aspect.
Nobody can say that it couldn't possibly happen.
Exactly, and you know that everyday life, something would happen like that. There'd be a few corny fucking thing that'd be there. Like you'd have one of your friends that's not always the brightest, finding out he has an eye in his fucking hand. He'd probably try to cut the hand off without even trying to figure out what it is.
Yeah,
Right.
Which would make it funny in retrospect, not on the fucking moment, but you know that if you'd be the one watching, you're God, you're watching this like, hey, look at those ants. He's just cut his fucking arm off. He could have done this.
If we showed this movie if we showed one of the newer versions of like the Kenneth Branagh movie, or like that's the one with Robert De Niro, right?
Right.
Or there's another one. I think there's like a few different versions, like the modern ones. If we showed this to them back then, they probably would go, "You're missing the point."
There's
You know
one.
what I
There's
mean?
one that I like was in Van Helsing.
Oh, I like that
The-
monster
the-
design too.
The take that they had of Frankenstein in there.
Yeah.
Not the movie, just the character design.
I enjoyed the movie, but I really liked the character of Frankenstein in there. Like
Good
it was
design.
really on point. Like
I love that.
I liked it. The design was cool too.
Yeah.
I think there was a Wolfman design in there that was kind of rocking. I thought.
The wolf design was cool. Like
Three wolves.
I even like the Dracula that looks like it's freaking what's his name again? Ah, damn, Ozzy Osbourne. Like he looked like Ozzy Osbourne, and I like the entire premise. Like Jekyll and Hyde was fucking great in there. It's just like
Notre Dame.
in an aspect, like I understand why people didn't like it. Like I would have expected it to be more serious, darker,
Hell yeah.
tone, theme, but the more goofy superhero comic type of thing. Is
Yeah,
also
like
enjoyable. Yeah.
Extraordinary Gentleman or something.
Yes, like that's another one I liked a lot.
It could have been even better.
yeah, I
if it
like the
was.
one too.
I keep coming back to that for some reason, and I know it always gets bad.
Me, I really
bad
like
rap.
Hollow Man.
You like
Hollow
what?
Man?
I'm sorry.
Hollow Man.
Hollow Man was great.
I thought
Yeah,
it was
Kevin
a
Bacon.
fucking great take on fucking Invisible Man.
Yes,
Verhoeven.
it's certainly a lot better than the Invisible Man remake that we just got a couple years ago, which doesn't even have an Invisible Man in it.
When you
Right.
think about the
Wow.
layers that they had to use to like constructing that character was so RAM and memory intensive, because there was like layers and layers and layers that they had to like go through, like all that back then. Maybe not so much today, but that was an achievement in CG.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. And you know, I'm not as much as I diss CGI all the time. It doesn't mean I'm anti CGI.
Mhm.
It's just technology, right?
Yeah.
It's
And in the wrong hands.
exactly. Well, right. You might create a works of beauty, or you might create a monster, or you might create like a completely boring piece of trash, like every. I don't
They're
even get me
everywhere. I
started,
know.
man. They're everywhere. They're
Like,
everywhere.
You just spun a
Me-
big wheel of fortune.
God.
There's
Yeah.
another thing I want to mention because she's rocking that white mesh there, And I'm sorry, I'm pretty sure that was all the elder lady
Look at the
girls
size
were rocking it.
That's a girl
back then.
Yeah.
No, I like what she's got on her forearms, like the bandages and stuff like that. That's great for like my character's got the same thing. It's got
I would just love to just
Kevlar stirrups.
I'm talking about, we kind of hang out, have a nice dinner, we're hanging out on the couch, and just start unwrapping, start unraveling.
As long as she doesn't scream at you halfway.
As long as she doesn't scream at me, no, it's got to be, she's got to be into it, But I mean, I'm a treater like Barry White. That's what I'm saying. I put on the Barry White and light the scented candles and massage, give her a foot massage. This is a really interesting picture right here. On the left, we have James Whale, who, by the way, designed the original design of the monster.
Oh yeah.
Yes, in a sketch. He wasn't much of a artist himself. I'm not sure who did this painting, but this is a concept drawing. Oh, not a concept drawing. This is a concept painting for how the monster would look in the film. Because of course he's just survived a fire, so that's why he has the scorched eyebrows and the hair, and his suit's a little toe up. But
did Karloff do the makeup himself? Is that apocryphal? Okay,
that was Jack Pierce. Pierce. And when Jack Pierce did those makeups, he considered himself very much the creator of those characters. That is to say, like a shaman or a magician or a sorcerer, he was kind of like bringing these characters to life. You're going to spend a lot of time sitting in that makeup chair, whether it was back then or now. You're going to be in that chair for fucking 3 hours.
Yeah. And, well, I mean, nowadays it takes 4 just to get a life cast.
Yeah. I mean, this poster, oh my God, this is
I remember this from somewhere. Where did I see this?
You may have seen this in, oh no, I'm sorry, I'm getting my posters.
I was going to say the first Ginger side. God damn it.
God, there's a poster that's very similar to this, except it's for the first film. And it is gigantic, and it is hanging in Midtown Comics in New York City, and at an estimated value, I think, of $1 million.
Damn.
Well, don't let anybody in with potatoes or tomato juice.
Yeah, I mean, God damn, man. What is it with SJWs and art vandalism? They love to vandalize.
I don't know. I just thought it was funny where they're like, the world is starving, and here I'm just going to throw food at a painting instead of feeding somebody with it.
I wish they would glue themselves to something so they could do. I'm sorry.
They have no respect for anything that came before them.
No.
Why do you wonder? They've never been taught to respect what came before. Or the elders. So, hey,
I'm surprised. I'm surprised at how easy it is for me to derail this whole panel. I just say one. I throw out one little politically questionable thing, and there's like, yeah, man.
It's easier to change history when you erase it.
And it wasn't me.
Yeah, and everybody. And
you're usually the guy.
Imagine that. Hey, it's a dog. I got bit by one of those a little while ago.
Yeah, so did I.
Oh, yay!
This has been here. This has been here for a couple of like a week, and that's from playing. That's from playing with him.
Sue snuck up on me earlier when I was eating. Right. It bit my arm. Bang, got right up in the funny bone spot of your elbow.
Mm-hmm.
My elbow's been ringing ever since. He didn't break the skin, but it hurt when it.
I know.
It
I
bit.
know.
Oh, I mean, because it was right on the funny bone, man. It hurt. It's still ringing. It's still buzzing. It's like numb.
Yeah.
It's weird. When you get your funny bone, but it's like something really sharp got you there.
Yeah, it's not a pleasant sensation for sure.
No, it hurts. It still hurts.
Yes, I was surprised.
Yeah, we hear that. Yeah, here of course is an awesome shot of Karloff taking a little break, and since there were a lot of English people in the cast, they would break for tea.
Yeah,
every afternoon.
Cameron couldn't stand that during Aliens.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, because that was shot in England. So was, of course, the Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
That's a great little publicity shot right there. I love that.
Oh yeah.
If it's Earl Grey, I agree.
What did everybody else
love
think of the
Earl
movie?
Yeah, seriously, speak up, and folks in the chat, let us know what you thought of Bride of Frankenstein if you've seen it.
What?
Somebody? I mean,
Well, whose turn? Yeah, go to. I already said stuff.
Yeah,
I said stuff in
Matt,
film.
your overall impression of Bride of Frankenstein.
Oh well, it's just it's great, man. Two Horns Way Up. It's like I said earlier, it's a classic. You got to kind of watch it. There's a lot of things that they're breaking new ground on when they're creating this movie, and yeah, man, it's awesome. I loved it, but like I said, I love the first one a little more. But I like to see Frankenstein's monsters arc in here,
Oh, you need to check out Son of Frankenstein too. It's not as good as this, I think, but it's still really excellent.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one. I'll check it out.
He's going for your carotid arteries, going for your jugular vein. Aw, smooch the pooch.
You gotta do this crap, don't you?
Yeah. He's just loving on you, dude. He's loving on you.
Boy. Goofball, go away.
This smoochy pooch.
God damn, man.
Cute as my kryptonite, man. Cute as my kryptonite. I will stop a stream dead if I see like a tail going like by behind somebody. I'm like, okay, show us a critter. Show us a critter.
Dickhead. That's what that dog is. Man.
Yes, I have one of those too.
These two,
Big
I told them
dickhead.
I'm not going to walk them anymore.
Biggest dickus.
Oh, that's cool. But yeah, this is an actual poster from the release of the film, which is surprisingly, I don't know,
starring Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers.
Right?
Misleading.
Somewhat.
Yeah, that's how you like bring your girlfriend. Like, there's absolutely no dancing.
Would you like to hear my opinion of the movie, Brian?
Yes, of course. I mean, we're getting to you too, bro.
Well, it's kind of the same as all my opinions of horror movies. I told you when I was young, we went and to conquer the fear, we giggled and we laughed and we cracked jokes.
Right.
And this was much funnier this time than it was the first time. I'm just saying.
Well, there's a lot of humor in this one, isn't there?
Well, yeah. And look, you guys kind of approach these like, you're kind of reviewing or dissecting, and I'm trying to relive whatever magic I got the first time.
I fully admit I am.
I do the same thing.
I'm going at it pinky out because I want to, I want to see if there's. Yeah, I want to know what it is about it that I'm supposed to like because somebody else likes it, but then at the same, like that's cool.
See, I'm trying to remember what my reaction was then when I saw it that first time. Do I still feel the same way about it now than I did then? Is it funnier? Because to me, it's really about humor. Everything I watch, I'm trying to find the humor in it. I don't care if it's WWE. Doesn't matter what I'm watching. I'm trying to find something to laugh about. If he swings the dude,
you should have seen that debate.
If he swings the dude, misses by a foot, and the dude flies backwards like he got whacked. It's the Three Stooges. That slapstick comedy, but I call it the 60 Stooges because there's a whole bunch of them.
Oh my God, yeah. There's Curly Joe, there's Curly Joe Dorita.
Yeah.
Curly Joe and Curly Joe Dorita are the same guy, right? And then there's Joe and Mama Besser. Joe Mama Besser. And a lot of people don't realize that Curly wasn't the original third stooge. He was the second. Shemp was actually the original third stooge.
Really?
Yeah. Talk about an upgrade, huh? But then again, nobody could ever beat Curly. Curly was the shit. And he had trouble talking to women because he always had that ridiculous haircut.
Oh yeah, the monk.
You mean Larry?
No, Curly. He was very shy with women because
Curly was bald.
No, he wasn't bald. He just shaved his head.
Okay.
Right.
I never saw him with hair.
Well,
so like it just made it
like Peach was and yeah. Maiden Hell says I saw it ages ago. I love old horror films and C-grade hokey films. Okay. I used to like. Oh yeah, she says I used to watch the Three Stooges with Dad. Yeah. Wow. That's another. There's an interesting gender gap too with the Three Stooges. I mean, there are some chicks that like the Three Stooges, but it's mostly a guy thing.
Was it Renee? Did Renee Russo played that character in Lethal Weapon 3?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought that was one of the cool, charming things about her is that she liked the Three Stooges just
Right.
as much as Riggs did.
Right, and that's when he realizes, oh, we just made a love connection.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, naturally, of course. I mean, there are even certain things like that I'll test women on, and they don't realize they're being tested, but they are being tested.
Oh, they're always being tested.
Yeah, and sometimes
Due diligence.
Yeah, exactly. And then it does involve showing them certain films for sure. Although, like I said, this is one I would never watch with a woman for sure because it gets me too emotional. And
First thing is, it's made for it.
What was that?
It's made for you to watch with your chick. It's like it's like the perfect movie to take a date on if you're a horror fan. But you don't because you don't want to look. You don't want.
Brian's going to have to hear. Brian's going to have to hear a girl say, "I can't watch Bride of Frankenstein with you because it makes me cry."
Yes.
And
what
then,
if
that's when he'll know.
This movie gets me very emotional. Yeah.
But what if she says
I'll
me
admit
too?
It, and that's why.
No, that's what I mean. She'll be the one that actually says it first, and then he'll know.
Right. There you go. And that's also why I was interested. I'm interested in getting your guys' opinion because I can't speak objectively about a movie like this because I have a special relationship with it. I've had a very special relationship with this film since I was a child. And so that's why I'm always so curious to see what new eyes make of it.
Given the time difference between something like Terrifier and this is a much more professional movie.
Oh
and
yeah,
even the time, even
production.
Yeah, even given the difference in time between this and a Hammer film, and maybe it's just because it's back then and it's black and white and you really can't tell about budget and adjusting for inflation and whatever. But this is a more solid story. It was more solid acting, and that's that. The core thing about a movie like this is what everybody's missing whenever they try to redo it, because they're not trying to upgrade, and that's it.
Yep.
And upgrade of like a facelift. And it's the thing about a facelift is you can always tell when it's a facelift, and it comes off as fake.
Yes, and this is a story I've told quite a few times, so forgive me, anybody, if you've heard this before. I was in a Facebook group that was horror related, and I very quickly realized this was not the group for me, because these people were not into classic horror. Not only were they not into classic horror, all they were into was like Rob Zombie and Eli Roth, and all they would watch were remakes. And this is like when there was, all of the horror movies that were coming out were remakes at that time. You all remember the remake boom, right? And
it's still happening. I mean, there's no original ideas.
I'm talking about that specific era. I'm talking about that specific era of like the Michael Bay remakes.
Oh, the Bay, yeah.
And so I was like, okay, well, I'm going to piece out of this group, but before I do, I genuinely want to know. I'm not asking this to be a dick. I genuinely just want to know, why do you folks watch the remakes instead of the originals? You don't even go back and watch the original first, or after watching it, you just watch the remake. And they all gave me the same answer. Well, because it's the same thing but better.
Yep.
How do you know?
Not really.
You can't know that.
But
they go back and watch it.
But you
They
can.
go with the idea that there's better special effects, better quality, more money put into it. To them, to a lot of people, it's like being art blind.
Yeah, there you go.
For some people,
like so many things in life, I always find that
that's why Marvel's surviving so much.
They're surviving. They're not surviving on having good taste. They're surviving on everybody else's lack of taste.
I remember Preston, like the first time I heard the term art blind was from Preston.
Yeah, right.
And he said, like, man, one of the things I love about working with you is you're not art blind. I'm like, what does that even mean? And he explained it to me that, there's certain people that he'd worked with that just, I don't know, didn't have an eye for art. I've loved it all my life, of course.
I sometimes wonder if I don't have an eye for art.
To dumb it down, it's like, you could do a stick figure and an actual shape, well-drawn shape next to it, and it's the same thing for them.
Yeah,
it's a bit dramatized, but it
that's
an
extreme
example.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, you're talking about the movement, the movement behind a glyph, or like the movement behind the underdrawing and the bones of what you're about to elaborate, like.
No, it's
the layout, the layout pictures that that you're going to be able to build something on top of. The movement is there in that.
No,
figure.
It's simpler. No, it's even worse than that, guy. You're trying. It's the thing of this. So there's a lot of people that go, "Oh, I can't do that, so that's good."
Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
The only,
that's the simplest way of turning it down.
Yeah,
if it's better than they
that's
can
great.
do,
Right.
it's amazing. It's great.
Well, you've been spending too much time on Twitter. Yeah, it's there.
When you do art, first thing they tell you is do not value your worth, or do not ask your family members to tell you how good you are.
Right.
Maidenhell says, they might be fighting words there, dude. I think she's referring to like when I said that chicks don't like the Three Stooges. Mind you, when I say something like that, it's a generalization.
Yeah, it's like having the ability
generally
to hear.
speaking.
She said it's like having the ability to hear all the parts of a song as opposed to just hearing a song. I think that the only, as far as like watching a remake because it's the same, only better, that only holds up and actually doesn't hold up when it's a shot-for-shot remake like Psycho, because it's the lines are the same, the shots are the same, so it's just like it, only better. Debatably, it's not better. Everything else, if you're changing the lines and you're changing the action, you're changing the camera shots, it's not the same. It's different.
Right.
That's just it. It has to be your own interpretation, like a cover song. Or even better, like I find so many analogies that work best in life usually have to do with cars because they reflect us so much. Right. What car would you have more appreciation for? One of these new Challengers or a 1970 440 RT?
1970.
Yeah.
Fuck these new Challengers. I fucking hate them. I hate all the American muscle cars out here driving down the freeway. Everybody thinks they're fucking Vin Diesel out here. Oh my god,
I can't stand.
I can't stand these motherfuckers. But
they don't look as bad as most cars, but they're not what you think it is.
No, they look cool, dude. It's just God. Everybody's got one, but man, definitely the American muscle from the 70s and 60s.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like you can do reprints, but it's not the right thing. It's just like any of these Miko reproductions or the G.I. Joe reproductions. They're just reproductions. You can't sell them for what they would be worth if they were for real.
And not every movie can be The Fly or The Thing.
That's true.
Simple as that.
No, in fact, that's like I was saying with the cover songs. I think that, and I know this is a real reach because we're talking about Queen here, but I think that Lynch Mob's version of Tie Your Mother Down is way better than the original, and mostly because it's just the way that like the way the solos work out and everything's working together, and it's got more bang, and it's not a reproduction, it's not even a reinterpretation. It's just how, if I was doing this is how I would do it, and making it sound like George Lynch playing the guitars. That's okay. You know what you're gonna get, but like the what you were saying before, and it's escaping me exactly how you put it. We went from muscle cars to something else.
Yeah, I agree with you on the covers. Like for me, I'm always going to be metal leaning. So if someone covers, Phil Collins' "Land of Confusion," I'm going to like Disturbed's version, or In Flames. I'm going to go with the In Flames one because it has more of a melodic thrash feel to it.
Yeah, even something like "Dancing in the Streets" from Van Halen. It's just got it's groovier.
Yeah, and what else did they do? Pretty Woman. I thought that was, and I love Roy Orbison, but I like Van Halen's more.
Yeah, it's just and that's the thing. You wouldn't expect that sound to apply to a classic like that.
Yeah,
but they somehow they made it work, and it felt natural. when what is a good movie remake that's really, it's like versus the original that you actually like.
The Fly and the
probably
Thing. Those are the only two
yeah,
I get
yeah,
to.
exactly. The Fly and the Thing.
I can't say whether I like the old one or not because I'm guilty of not ever having. Oh, I saw the first Fly, but the Fly, but I never saw the Thing from Outer Space. I think it is.
Yeah.
Bunch of Fingers.
Yeah.
And we had like a science fiction elective in high school. We watched it, and the one thing that I found, and Matt, if you saw, or anybody who actually saw it, one of the things that I really liked about the Thing was that even though you didn't see all the characters for very long, that they were each of them so unique in their personality, the way they talk to each other. Because after a while, it doesn't take too long before guys start getting knocked off. And it was one of those things where you did not get the feel that the people were in the movie simply to be killed. So it didn't feel like a slasher.
No, you cared for them, and he built up, I think, little subtle nuances within those characters.
Like even that, like little stuff like that. Like when Knowles says, "Hey, no problem, man. I'll take you up to in the helicopter." The guy's like, "Hell no!" He goes, "Well, thanks for thinking about it, though." I use that all the time. That's like part of my normal speech now. It's a great line from a movie will find its way into the way that you talk, you talk to people. But when you watch that original Thing from Outer Space, it's in there too. That same interaction between the characters. You don't get the feeling that they're there just to be knocked off. They interact with each other and have their own unique personalities and stuff. And I think that's one of the things that John Carpenter turned up to 11.
Oh yeah.
Aside from amalgamated dynamics being interrupted by the advent of CG in movies, did anybody hate the prequel? And it is a prequel. We can agree on that, right?
Yes, but not because of the special effects. I like the way that the plot came together and the way that they ended it. I liked the idea of the implants. That was very clever.
Yeah.
The earring, you mean?
Most people
like when you would like somebody had like it doesn't know how to reproduce inorganic matter, so like fillings and screws and things like that. The thing that I didn't like about it was they made the characters that shouldn't have been easily intimidated. The bad guy in that is the most scientific thing, and don't talk to the other people like that. Like, no, I'm sorry. You're talking about potentially the single most biohazardous thing on the planet, and you just want to start drilling into that block of ice. Those writers are going to have to find some other way for that to happen. They can't just nobody in their right mind would do that.
Right.
Nobody, especially somebody who considers themselves to be a scientist.
Because there could be like a germ or a disease or some kind of microorganism.
Yeah, and this guy, all he cares about is his reputation or whatever. He wouldn't have gotten that far in his career if he was always like that.
We should think about, I'm not trying to take control, but I mean, was that from the bathroom? Oh, cool.
Yeah, it'd be cool if you had one of her,
the other shot. Yeah.
Shaving her legs or taking a bath or something.
Or something like that.
Yeah, I wanted to use an example for another remake.
Oh,
that was
nuts.
For the remakes being good or bad.
What's that?
It's Get Carter.
Super deformed.
Get Carter?
The original movie Get Carter.
It's fucking awesome.
The original was a good movie.
Oh,
I never seen it.
Good,
Sorry,
right?
Never seen it.
But
Michael Caine's in there.
That's
it's a monster of its time.
That's
he's the gangsta in that.
I love the Stallone one.
That's Elmore Leonard, right? Elmore Leonard wrote that.
That's the type of movie.
I don't think so.
That's the type of movie that can win from being remade later on. But here's where I think it's funny, where it's fucking hilarious. And it's one of the things that people don't realize. There's a lot of movies out there that are posing as new movies, but they're actually remakes.
Of course,
right?
One of them here, it's one of my perfect freaking example. One of my favorite movies. It's Payback.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the things that they did is that they came back. They did a Get Carter remake, which flopped. They did a Get Carter remake, and then there's Payback. That's also a Get Carter remake, but it's on its own little monster. Even though it's Get Carter. And Payback is fucking way better than the original. Even though the original is great, Payback is fucking awesome because he actually succeeded into making you hate and love the guy.
Right.
No, I was thinking,
And you root for him at the end. You totally fucking root for the guy at the end.
Yeah, whereas in Get Carter, when he bites it at the end, you're just kind of like, well, no, I mean, and that's sort of the point too in that film.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Different taste, different monster. But you have to admit, Payback, dude, wow. To me, it's freaking awesome. It's
the island.
Well, there's a lot of that in Blood Hunt, of course.
Yeah, he inspired Blood Hunt. Yeah.
The Island seemed like a remake of Logan's Run to me, kind of.
Which one?
The Island.
Well, that's what it was. Yeah, it was intended to. Technically, I remember back then they were looking for people to work on the remake of Logan's Run.
Oh,
and that came out instead.
What remakes haven't you seen that you would like to see?
Logan's Run would be one. I actually did concept art for it.
I've thought of that. Yeah,
I did concept art for it when I was in university for a project when they were trying to bring it back.
Shit.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
They also tried to do a Captain Flam.
Oh wow!
And they came to our school and I did a few concept art for that too.
I think Leonardo DiCaprio was supposed to do the title role for Logan's Run. I mean, I heard he was in it.
It's okay. That would be kind of on point. He drops all his girlfriends at 21.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, sure does.
Do you know anything about Logan's
Just
Run?
be yourself. Just be yourself, Leonardo.
Oh my God, genius! That
has to happen. Study for this role.
It has to happen.
I always wanted to see the $6 Million Man done over again, but I think they were going to put Jim Carrey in as a comic role, like they did Starsky.
I cannot stand when they do that. Now I can't always not stand it. I mean, I thought Starsky and Hutch was funny, but it would have been. What else are you going to do with it? It's just another police procedural.
I would like to see the Bionic Man though.
I would too.
Of course, we done the $6 trillion man at this point.
Yeah, I'd have that $6 million man adjusted for inflation.
And I would like to see him powered with a thorium battery. Please, let's raise the awareness.
Right.
Molten salt battery. It would have been really cool to do it if they had get a hold of Lee Majors before he quit, so he can be Oscar Goldman.
Did you enjoy Lee Majors seeing the Bionic Man being Ash's dad in the series?
Yeah, I was going to say he's good in Ash vs. Evil Dead. That was hilarious.
He's Ash's dad in Evil Dead the series.
That's
Right,
my favorite show, man.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
You guys see Doomsday? You guys seen that movie?
Hey, it's
Doomsday?
pretty good. I think
movie.
it's the second season or the third season, I think. But there's a moment where it turns really weird.
Yeah,
like where they got affected by the woke agenda. And
Yeah,
at the end, they just went, fuck this shit. And at the end, they went, fuck this shit. And that's how it ended.
It goes through waves. But I still love it.
Is that the one where they're in like Vegas or something?
The third season is where they brought in Ash's daughter. And then that's when, he gets emasculated all the time. It's not just comedy anymore.
Oh, okay.
It gets fucking stupid. And then, like at the end, they go, you know what? Fuck this. We're going out with a bang.
Yeah.
And they do go out with a bang.
Well, what I really loved, the one FU to the SJWs that I really loved was in Hannibal, right? Because that show got to a point where Twitter was writing it.
Oh, wow.
And what the David Slade, the creator of the show, did was he took the two main characters and he just rolled them off a cliff. Like, fuck you, bye.
Oh,
Peace out. Yeah, try picking up from where I left off. Yeah, because it was just like Twitter was writing that show. They bent over harder than even like The Walking Dead, and that's saying something.
It's horrible. I liked his 30 Days a Night. That was great. I was gonna say about Doomsday. That was a remake, kind of a soft remake of Escape from New York, but it had some cool shit in there, like the castles.
It's not a remake. It's not a remake. It's a movie mashup.
Yeah.
Right. Like you've heard music mashups.
Yeah.
Doomsday, which I love to pieces, is a movie mashup of Escape from New York, Mad Max.
Yeah, there's some Mad Max in there.
The Italians used to do that all the time in the 80s, in the early 80s.
Did you guys see Lockout?
Yes.
Lockout.
Is that the one with Guy
yes.
Pearce?
With Guy
Guy
Pearce,
Pearce.
like
That's
it's
also-
technically similar to freaking Escape from New York or Escape from LA. Same type of premise.
Yeah.
But dude, Guy Pearce is so fucking awesome.
He is. He's good in
He
there.
gets me cracked up, dude. I
Yeah,
saw
sure.
as soon as I saw the opening scene when he's sitting there in that chair, I'm like,
Yeah.
I want that guy to be Nat. Like back
I was
then,
about to say he could play
I
Nat.
wanted
dude.
him to be Nat, dude. Back
Oh,
it
he'd
was
be
my
awesome.
first.
Oh, he'd be good, dude. He doesn't get
Especially
that
when he
many
gets
roles
punching
either.
A goddamn face, go
Like
let
that.
it punch.
I know.
You wanted him to play who?
He should be a much bigger
Nat,
star.
my
don't you
character.
think?
Yeah.
Oh,
Batman
oh.
in the Nolan verse because of
Make him,
Memento.
make him
Right,
a
right.
ginger and bulk him up a little bit more, and he'd be perfect. Like attitude wise, in there,
Yeah,
yeah, he's Nat.
Yeah.
He's very underused. He needs to play
Right?
more of those badass like Snake Plissken
Mhm.
type characters.
He should
you
be a
know?
much bigger. He's one of those guys. I don't understand why
But-
he's not like a huge star.
And if you
Yeah.
don't know what it is, it's a movie by Luc Besson, and that's the
Besson,
one
yes.
that he actually lost because you know that he pretty much gets sued by every time he makes a movie, he gets sued because all these movies are technically ripped off from comic books, other movies,
Yeah.
and mashed.
Yeah,
up
I mean,
into one. And he gets away with all of them except that one. He did
Uh.
not get away. Carpenter got his ass.
Did he
Yeah.
really?
Yes, he paid.
Yeah. You see, that's where I'm like, come on, man, that's bullshit. It's not the same thing. It's
No, it's
it's
not.
inspired by. Unless you're using the name
I
Snake
agree.
Plissken and Escape from New York, let it fucking
I
go.
mean, it is in space, dude.
I agree. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I
that's
agree.
enough. Yeah, that's enough.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is that it's the worst thing. Dude, the Fifth Element is really fucking a lot the inkle. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh,
That's not the
exactly.
same
And it's so much
Yeah.
the inkle. That one should have been the one to get him like poof, fuck
Well,
you.
but the
No, not only that, but
the illustrator was-
Roger Dean should have gotten paid tons of money for Avatar.
Yes.
That was criminal. That was outright
Roger Dean?
theft.
I mean, the Fifth Element employed
Roger
the
Dean, yeah.
No, the Fifth Element employed like Luc Besson had Mobius in.
But that's
like,
what that's
like, he
that's
was-
why he got away with it. That's the fucking ruling that made him
Right.
get away with it is that he hired the Mobius to do concept art. So he went, no, he did storyboards. You're like,
Do you guys
"Ah."
ever? Do you guys ever watch Razor Fist? He did a thing
Yep.
on
Yeah, of course.
French comic illustration. It was outstanding.
Oh yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. I live French comics.
I don't. I disagree with Razor Fist on politics a lot. When it comes to art, like
Yeah.
he's like a pulp guy to the core.
Yeah.
And like Sim and I are like
There it
the two great in CG.
Wow.
We're like the ambassadors for French comics.
Yeah,
I'm
I need to
French, I'm
expand.
French Canadian, so I've been reading them for a long time, and I have one of the biggest collections.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, and
You're gonna let me do this or not?
yeah, and what's the one word that we have to say to everybody here,
Nice, Sim.
Sim?
What?
Made up barons.
Yeah, Meta Barons. Dude, Inco, Meta Barons, Techno Priest, and then continue.
And metal hurlant.
I
Heavy
love their
metal.
just format,
Heavy
man.
metal.
Even this large format, the way they do everything.
Mhm.
They can treat it like
Yeah,
rock stars
and
over
the
in
thing
France.
is, you're lucky
Yep.
right now because for the longest fucking time, the only way you guys could get French comics was by the generosity of Heavy Metal Magazine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, Titan Comics we are reprinting most of those shit. So I've been talking to you guys about Druyet for so many fucking years. They have them all in reprint, in original right now, English print. You can get them for cheap.
Okay.
You can get a whole bunch of stuff. You can get Mobius. Like they were never available before.
I'm sorry, I didn't know that you guys. Somebody was asking about what are you talking about, Roger Dean and Avatar. There's a link in the private chat. Roger Dean, you guys are all familiar with his work. If you've seen him do anything, his album cover work for Yes,
Oh yeah.
Asia, whatever. Okay, that's his work.
Oh.
And whenever
okay.
I saw Avatar, I was like, I've seen this before. Every time I went to the record store and went going through albums, I'd always go look at these.
What, the floating
specific
rocks?
Hmm?
The image of the floating rocks?
Yeah.
Dude, I've seen that so many goddamn times.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. When they're like,
It used to be in so many comics in the 60s and 70s.
But Roger would, yeah, but the way that it looks like it's not just the floating rocks. I mean, if you go through it more, you'll see like the colorful dragons and stuff like that. Well, this is a short
There's more?
article. Yeah,
Okay,
this is
it's
like a
weird.
really short article. Yeah,
Yeah, because I just see two pictures. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
yeah. Look up Roger Dean
Because I'm like,
Look up, just look up
do not
like
make it
Roger
crazy.
Dean and an image search. You'll know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
It's in your face. I don't know how anybody didn't just look at it and go like, oh yeah, how about that?
I hate to be the party pooper, but we got another show coming on at 11.
I was about to say, I'm
No, I know this
about
thing
ready
always
to
goes
tap
on pretty
out.
long, and I gotta I gotta clean up and make my lunch and stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Okay,
The Dragon's Dream.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the next movie?
Oh, that's a good question. Suggestions?
Well, we were talking about
Hollow Man.
It's-
Did you do that one?
I'm gonna say the same thing every week until we
It has
actually
to not
get to
be.
see
It
it.
has to not be behind a paywall. That's the only rule.
Yeah,
So
I
we need
don't
to
think
be
it
on-
is.
So if you're not sure, look it up on Internet Movie Database, and there's a button you can click to see where you can see the film. If you can,
Well, I've been looking it up on look it up on Real Good, and I believe that the canal is still on Tubi.
The Canal.
Is it? Let's see. Yeah, it's a British.
Yeah, it's on Tubi and Crackle.
Yeah.
But that's always going to be whatever. I mean, I think it's really good. It's creepy. It's
It is.
and
I
it's a
enjoyed
little slow moving, but I'm trying to remember the one plot device that it uses that reminds me of something else, and I think it was I just thought about it at dinner tonight, and it was bugging me. It's like like when I can't say because then I'll end up giving it away, but anyways, that's my suggestion.
Oh man, I see they've got Shocking Dark on there, which is an Italian combination. We're talking about movie mashups, and I was saying how the Italians used to do that shit all the time. Shocking Dark is a cross between Alien and the Terminator, and then there's another.
It sounds like Heavy
one.
Metal or Hardware.
Right. Yeah.
Hardware was good.
Well, Hardware is pretty much like a movie version of a story that you see in creepy and eerie magazines, like the Warren.
Did you guys
Horror,
ever see
Yeah.
over and
Screamers?
over and over again?
Yeah,
I did
Oh,
see
yeah.
Screamers. Yeah.
yeah. Read the book, saw
Yes,
the movie.
based on the Philip K. Dick novel. Yeah, I mean novella, or rather, long.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was a shorter story, but yeah,
It's a short story.
yeah. It was. I liked it a lot.
it was good. There was a couple of cool concepts in there,
Yeah.
like the cigarettes you have to smoke so that you don't get.
Wasn't that a remake as well? Like
No,
of another movie?
no, it was based on a Philip K. Dick story called.
That I know. But I
Second
thought
Variety.
I thought there was another one made before.
All right. Well, you guys can kind of kick it in the backstage and decide what you're going to watch next week. Let me
That's
know
what
so
we're
I can
gonna
set up.
do.
Well,
All
All
right.
right, so you can.
Well, that
Good talking to you. It's good seeing you again, pops.
Right, and
Yeah, it's good
everybody.
seeing everybody.
Yeah, everybody,
nice seeing you
thank
guys.
you so much for tuning in. We do greatly appreciate you. Does everybody want to say like where they can be found?
Yeah, YouTube Kit Bash Federation.
Okay,
Yeah.
and you, Matt.
Yeah, sure. You can find me. My channel is Metal Movies and Brewskis. I do reviews on metal movies,
why we
beer,
couldn't-
comics, and people got their campaigns too. Having people on too. So
Right, and I will definitely try and show up for the next one. Sim.
Me, I'm everywhere under sim_Inkslayer, and don't forget to go check out InkSlayerEntertainment.com.
Do it now, bitches. And you, ID.
IDCrisis.com and anywhere that you see ID Crisis or ID Crisis Design on all social media channels.
Okay, awesome. And of course, folks, you can find me on the Twitter at Brian Christgau, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much for tuning in. We do appreciate you, and enjoy the season, and stay scared.
Sweet.
I like that.